Hi.
Here we are.
Welcome.
Woohoo!
There's no. I expected applause or something. I was waiting.
Just silence.
Welcome
Here
to
we are.
ESO Live. Thank you. Another action-packed episode. I'm Jason, Community Coordinator for ESO.
I'm Gina Bruno, Assistant Community Manager for ESO.
Yep. So should we just get into it? Show the lineup?
We probably should.
Yeah,
we did post the show schedule yesterday on the website, but just in case you missed it, we're going to go over it one more time.
Sure. So at first we have the official news recap.
After that, we're going to get into Ask Us Anything, where we take some of your questions that you posted on the forums, and we're going to answer them.
We are. The ESO Fan Creation Showcase, where we show off some of your artwork.
After that, we will be talking with Exile from ESOFashion.com.
Yeah, that would be fun. Followed by PTS and Update 6 discussion with Eric Wrobel. He's been on the show many a times.
He has.
He's going to be back answering your questions.
We got a lot of questions for him, too.
A lot, yeah.
Then we'll be doing our Life at Sauce segment with one of our systems designers, Doug Carroll.
Yes. And last but not least, ESO community events, going over the RP events in Tamriel. And of course,
we'll probably do some giveaways.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's going to be some giveaways, right?
Why not? It's Friday.
Yeah.
So let's get started with our first segment, which is all the news. So when I talk like this, it's like the words aren't matching up with my mouth. Excellent. Well, then, let's just talk about news instead. We've had a really busy couple of weeks.
Yes.
We posted, we didn't post, Matt Fyer, our game director, posted the road ahead yesterday. This was on the website, so we just kind of wanted to go over some of the high-level points that were listed here. Matt talked about loyalty rewards. We did announce our 9-month loyalty reward, which is the Mask of Cheerful Slaughter.
Yeah.
And it is just terrifying.
It's cool. Look at it. Look at that. Is it 3 faces?
I don't know, man. That
it is terrifying, but
if
it's cool.
I saw an army of those guys coming over the hill
You would run,
in Cyrodiil,
right?
I would definitely run. Run for my life.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool reward.
The Striped Cinch is another one that everyone was super stoked about. This guy, you can see it on the screen now. This one is actually decked out in all of the mount upgrades. So depending on if you've put all your points into the bag space or whatever, he might look a little bit different. I know there's some questions on the forums about, oh, does he come automatically with the armor?
Sure.
So depending on what you've upgraded, it might look a little different.
Yeah.
There is special criteria for receiving this mount. We're going to go over it now because, again, a lot of questions about, well, how can I get this, or do I even qualify? So first, you must have paid for 300 days of game time. Sorry, trying to speak and think ahead a little bit. You have to pay for 300 days of game time prior to March 16th in order to qualify for this mount. You can actually go onto your account page online. I think it's account.elderscrollsonline.com, and it'll show how many days that you've paid for. The time is not consecutive. The 300 days of paid time does not need to elapse prior to March 16th. The 30 days of free time that you got with the initial game purchase does not count towards the mount. In addition, any days that you may have been compensated by customer support, that doesn't count either. Game time equaling 300 days can be purchased prior to March 16th. So it doesn't need to be game time that's used by that date. As long as you have 300 days added to your account by March 16th, then you're good to go.
Yep.
Matt also got into a little bit about the philosophy behind the Crown Store. He spoke about ESO Plus, console, the console transfers. So there's a lot of information in there. Instead of us just talking about it, you should just go to the website.
Yeah, check it out. It's meaty. And there's many screenshots that we've got, artwork and stuff.
4.
So if you, yes,
lots of screenshots.
If you want to take a look at the mounts again and the costume again, and of course the console UI screenshot of the Xbox controller. So very cool stuff. So check that out. So also, Update 6 is on the PTS. It's been on the PTS. We've been talking about it a lot. We had 1.6.1.
Did you know Update 6 was on the PTS?
Did you know? I don't think you know.
Play it.
1.6.2 is currently on the PTS. We're getting a bunch of feedback, and a lot of that bug fixes and stuff is going to be in 1.6.3. We're aiming to push that out next week. That's the goal. And of course, Update 6 on live. We would love.
Wait.
What?
I'm gonna let you finish.
What?
I just wanted to throw in for 1.6.3. We know there's been an issue where there's just massive damage everywhere in Cyrodiil. This is being fixed.
Yes.
In 1.6.3.
Yes.
Sorry, I pulled a Kanye there, so you can go ahead.
Pulled a Kanye. Update 6 going to live, which is obviously everyone wants to know when that's happening, and we're still aiming for the end of the month. So as soon as we have a specific date, we're going to be telling you, but get on the PTS in the meantime and continue to give us your feedback on everything. And of course, 1.6.3 coming up soon.
Did you say that we're doing the European
Oh, not yet.
character?
But I'm about to.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so with 1.6.3, the European character copy is going to be part of that. We've been taking turns, so it's NA and EU both, you have a chance to play with your characters that are on live. But of course, we'll have fully maxed out templates available as well that you'll be able to use. So NA players can still get on there. But EU players, of course, you can look forward to playing with your characters again on 1.6.3.
And we did make it so you can spec out all the champion points on both your copied character and on the template.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
more power.
More power.
Have you heard about Tamriel Unlimited?
I heard something about it, but I would love you to tell me more.
I will. Tamriel Unlimited will be switching to that on March 17th.
Yep.
So basically, if you purchase the game in the past, you will be able to play anytime you want. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, so if you, let's say you had a bar mitzvah that you were practicing for and you just had to take a couple months off and you were like, man, I'm not ready to sub up again. Well, Tamriel Unlimited, you don't have to. You can just come back and log in and you're there. It's so
pretty
easy.
exciting.
Yeah, it's awesome.
The other thing we wanted to clarify is the Crown Store is going live with Tamriel Unlimited.
Correct.
It's not going to be with Update 6.
Yeah, so even though you've been testing some of that content on PTS, that's not going to go live with Update 6. That's going to be held for the Tamriel Unlimited launch.
Yep. What else is going on?
Console, I think, is something that's going on. Yeah? You know something about that?
Did we announce that date?
I think we did. June the 9th, 6/9 of this year. Console is coming out. Yeah, so Xbox One, PS4, I know you've been waiting. That's happening in June. It's just a little while longer, and then we're going to be having fun, right?
So much fun.
Yeah.
Well, I think next we should get into some questions.
Yeah, we answered some
answers?
questions just now, but that's not nearly enough, so let's get into the Ask Us Anything. We're back. That was a nice little break, wasn't it?
Oh man, I don't know where I was. I was staring at Twitch chat going down.
All right, so as we always do, we take your questions from the forums. We've got a very meaty Ask Us Anything thread that's going on. It's been going on for months. We take as many questions as we can, get answers for you guys. So let's get into it, shall we?
We should start.
Okay. Here's one from Hawk269. When will we see footage of the Xbox One version of the game? We actually showed off a screenshot with the road ahead. So if you want to take a look, there's that. But of course, we're going to be having more footage coming up in the months ahead. Obviously, launch is just around the corner, so you're gonna see more. We did show off PS4 footage during the special ESO TU edition with Matt and Pete and Paul.
That's a mouthful.
It was a mouthful. A couple weeks ago, so if you want, you can take a look at that. But the Xbox footage, of course, we're going to be showing that off soon. Yeah.
It does exist.
Of course.
Next question is from ESO Rising, asking, how will people be able to communicate on the console version, considering consoles do not have a mouse and keyboard?
Good question.
Will there be some speech-to-text or voice communication? So in addition to voice chat, why do I hear myself? What's happening? If you've never heard yourself talking before, it's crazy.
Roll with it.
I doing it live, man. So anyway, in addition to voice chat, the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One versions of Tamriel Unlimited are going to support a USB-connected keyboard and mouse, or I guess you can't chat with a mouse, but a keyboard for chat, just like the PC and Mac copy.
Yep.
Or you can just use, a canvas string with your friends.
That does work, yeah.
Either way.
Yeah, walkie-talkies, they're fun. Here's another one from ESO Rising. How will DLC work? Do we own it after downloading it? How does that all work? So basically, ESO Plus members, basically when you are a member, you have access to the regions that we provide. So different dungeons or additional content, you're going to have access to that. If your subscription to ESO Plus lapses, you won't have access to that. But if you rejoin, you will. But we're also going to have the option to purchase those DLC packs outside of that subscription. So if you decide that you just want to purchase, one pack, you can do that, and you'll always have access to that content. Cool. Does that answer the question? Good.
Next question is from Decaliber, asking, will PC to console transfer ever be sold? I'm not talking about the ones last year for the few that are eligible. Many of us missed that by date time and want to transfer a character to console. The short answer is no. And I guess the long answer is no. It will not be sold. Sorry.
Correct. Yeah, that was just something that we wanted to do for the people who got the game on PC early, and that was just an exclusive thing. Here's a question from Angelin. Can we have Zach Bush on ESO Live again, especially if he brings along more of his questions that he asked the Lore Master? Hashtag LoreBits with Zach Bush. We spoke to Zach. He would love to be on the show again. He's not going to be on today. He needed a break and some time off.
Take a day off.
Yeah, he's going to be back, I'm sure. He got a lot of love in the Twitch chat last time. So yeah, he'll be back. Hashtag LoreBits.
Are you trying to start something?
Yes. Well, not now. Maybe next time. Like if they,
It's a good idea. That would be fun.
I like it.
Mission wants to know, with the new collection system and console transfers that are available for certain PC users, will my pets, mounts, and costumes transfer with the character I copy? Just wondering if you can potentially have the Imperial Edition on the console without actually purchasing a second Imperial Edition for the console, minus the Imperial race, of course, unless you're transferring an Imperial character. Okay, so the question was basically, will pets, mounts, costumes, and everything transfer when you do the transfer to console? Yes. If you purchase the Imperial Edition of ESO on PC or Mac, when you transfer to console during the character copy, if you're eligible, your collection items will transfer with you. So you do not need to purchase Imperial Edition a second time.
Good to know.
Indeed. Well, I mean, you already knew that because you read this ahead of time.
It's true, but we're all learning together. That's what this is about. Here's a question from Tim T Bag 123UB17_ESO. Will there be item interaction in other Elder Scrolls games? I would really love to put a bucket on my friend's head. We don't have plans for that at this time, but we also would love to put a bucket on your friend's head, so you never know what can happen. But no plans at this time.
Development's crazy.
Development is crazy.
Dark Knight 16 asking, has the server situation on console been finalized yet? I have a number of friends on PS4 in the US while I'm in EU and would like to play with them. And will we be able to switch Mega Server on console? We are actually finalizing these details now, so we have nothing to share, but we will definitely give you all that information as soon as it's finalized. Yep. Sorry, I guess that was kind of a non-answer.
Yeah, but it's getting close, so we'll have details soon.
And don't forget, you guys, Eric Wrobel is going to be on this later. He's going to be answering a lot of questions about gameplay and combat, so...
So what?
I mean, you don't want us answering those questions. You want him.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what.
Here's a question from Golden Jaguar _ESO. Are you ready to tackle the influx of gold spam that comes whenever a game changes its business model? So the answer is yes.
I'm ready.
We're ready.
My body is ready.
We've been tackling gold spam, consistently since launch, and obviously, I think we're kicking some butt there. But our tools we already have in place, so we're ready for the Tamriel Unlimited launch for sure.
Indeed. Kirstein asking, can I use stolen items in crafting like food making? Yes, you definitely can. The system even prioritizes using stolen goods over non-stolen ones to kind of help you dispose of your contraband. Smart system.
Very nice. From Rerem New, looking at increasing number of questions about race change possibility. Are you possibly going to give us the opportunity to change our character's race? This isn't something that we have plans to do right now, but you know, development. Never know.
Because development.
Yeah.
Oh, where are we here?
This is an important one.
Super Quad Ducky asking, when are the Gore plushies going to be back in stock? We don't have an exact date, but we can tell you that they are being made still.
Yeah, he's right there. He's like staring against the wall because he's embarrassed because he's like hard to find. Hi, buddy.
Here's one. Gosh, I almost feel like we're taunting you now, but
they'll be back soon.
They will be back. They are making them.
Yep. Here's one from Crazed Dark. Will costumes alike to armor have the ability to be recolored or dyed? This is actually a little bit more complicated than it seems on the surface, but we are investigating ways to do this. Nothing to announce right now, but it's definitely something that we are looking into.
Indeed.
That would be cool.
That would be kind of cool. Alana of Mars. We were talking earlier if Alana is one of the volunteers going to Mars. In which case she wouldn't hear this answer.
Right.
But asking, are the veteran ranks here to stay at this point? No, we are still planning to remove veteran ranks after we release The Elder Scrolls Online, Tamriel Unlimited on console. We don't really have an exact timeline to share since, because development and, everything changes, and we just want to make sure that we're handling the entire transition properly.
But still the plan.
It is still the plan, but date is TBD.
TBD.
Our favorite date is soon.
I do like that day. So what do you want to do now?
We should give something away.
Should we do that? What should we give away?
CJ's favorite. We're going to be giving away a symbiote Nord figurine.
Oh, God. Here we go.
There he is. What was the keyword we were using for that?
So in chat right now, what we would like you to type
right this
is
second.
Wolfhound. Wolfhound.
Why,
that's one word.
Why do you type in Wolfhound for this?
Well, because if you look at the back, there is a Wolfhound. And you will get a code to enter into the game, and this little pet will run around with you and be your friend. So, Wolfhound in chat. Let's do it.
Why did you suddenly become like from the south when you were talking about that?
What, Fran?
Be your friend.
Fran. Be a friend. Fran. Let's give it a little bit more time.
We need to. They just started.
That's fine.
It's happening.
No, we're in no rush.
We'll stay here all afternoon.
Yeah, I got nothing to do. Do you?
Yes.
Wolfhound.
Wolfhound in chat if you want to win the Nord.
Chat is going crazy.
You see it?
They all want a friend. It's so cute.
Why?
I don't know.
Well, I'd like a friend. You know what I want is a winner.
All right.
Let's pick a winner.
You want to?
Yes.
Okay. So do it.
I can't. I'm waiting. Boy, this is awkward. There we go. All right, so the winner is...
What's their name?
Flamineer.
Yep, there we go. I'm not going to try to repronounce it. Well, congratulations, person.
Flamineer, congratulations.
Yep, respond. Jess is going to be reaching out to you in Twitch chat. So just provide your information. We'll send that little guy to you.
Don't forget to check your other tab because...
Yes.
It seems pretty common that our messages go there instead of your main inbox.
I think Twitch thinks we're spam, but we're not. We're just
trying to provide
give you
gifts.
Prizes. Yeah, so check the inbox in the other tab just in case. Little disclaimer.
Indeed.
Yep.
Next up, we're going to get into some fan creations, so stick around for the whole 5 seconds.
Whoa,
we're back! All right, so as always, we have some really cool fan creations we wanted to share with you. These are just some of our favorites from the past couple weeks.
Yep. Let's take a look.
First, we have Falandir. This is from Bromicide, found on TessoRP.com. This is actually Bromicide's Bosmer character belongs to the Bramblescar clan. This
It's
is an Aldmeri Dominion roleplay guild on the North American mega server. Little plug there.
Yeah. I like the body art.
Yeah, he's got some nice tattoos going on there.
Yeah, from this angle, doesn't it kind of look like the Riddler? The
It does kind of.
Yeah. No, that's cool though.
He looks like he's kind of giving CJ some stink eye.
He is. Well deserved. This one's awesome. Vitalis and Han Lu by Nevius on Tesso RP. These are two dumber friends, and I love the lighting in the back.
They're just chilling.
Yeah, they're just chilling on the rooftop, taking a look at the scenery. That's really cool.
They're watching everyone running around on their Gore mounts.
Yes, they're enjoying a nice peaceful afternoon.
This is a Manamarco Valentine. In case you can't read it, it says, "Give me your heart and soul, Valentine, and I will be yours."
For all eternity.
What's it say in the parentheses? I can't
Your
read
master,
it.
that is.
Your master, that is, for all eternity. This is awesome. From Slayer Serena, found on DeviantArt.
What are you, blind?
Maybe I need some glasses. Huh? Oh, that's right. I didn't scratch my eyeball like somebody did. Anyway, enough with that.
Thank you.
Full of love.
Thank you. Up next,
we make fun with love.
We have, I'll just cry afterwards. We have Spark. This is by Preth Dark Worm on DeviantArt. This is adorable. And I love the heart because it's very Valentine's Day-y. But this is cute. It's very cute.
That's all you got? Just cute? It's Not Ready Yet by Fellrocker, found on DeviantArt. I see a theme here. I think the Netch in the background has a little heart, right?
Yeah. He's in love.
This is a Nord and an Orc. The artist actually created the piece after feeling nostalgic for ESO. They started the piece almost a year ago during beta, so nice to see it all wrapped up. I really like it. That's all I have to say about that, I guess.
I love this piece. This is by Istriana. It's called Inner Light. This is her Breton sorcerer, Noli, casting the Inner Light spell. And the colors are awesome. It's a blue, from what I've been told, is what they call that.
You sure?
No, I'm not sure. I wouldn't bet on it, but it's beautiful. I love this.
You should probably get your eyes checked.
Thank you.
This is Evan Hart by Mr. Kelzak, found on our official ESO forums. Yeah. This is an Argonian, a Nord, and a Dark Elf.
How cool does that Argonian look? He looks like he's up to no good.
He does. He looks like that
Shifty
Nord
eyes.
Is just up to something, and he's not liking it.
I love this piece.
What do we have up next?
And we have Marguru and Maram by Demorta on DeviantArt. Looks like half of maybe a rabbit is left. The rest is just ripped to shreds.
Gross.
It's a little bloody. But it is definitely a cool piece. It looks like they're sitting on a rock formation. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
No, I like this. It's pretty.
Pretty pretty. This is why you're not a designer.
This is why I'm not a designer.
So next up, we were planning on calling Exile from ESOFashion.com. I don't know if you've been on the website. I know you have, but if you guys haven't been on the website, it basically lists out like every single like clothing item. It's got shields, weapons, costumes, whatever, just all right there.
Yeah.
On the website, which is kind of cool.
It is cool. Yeah.
Oops. I probably
Should we
need
call?
to.
Should we listen?
I was going to say I can't hear without my trusty earbuds.
So let's talk to Exile. Hello, Exile. Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Hi,
Welcome
there
to
you are.
the show.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Whoops. There we go. Oh, where are my questions? We were just talking about what everybody can kind of see on your website. Do you want to talk a little bit about ESO Fashion and what the website's all about? I'm sure you can explain it better than I just did.
Okay, so ESO Fashion was intended to be a visual database of all of the armor and weapons that are available in Elder Scrolls Online. Unfortunately, we're probably never going to actually get to that point because of everything that's available, especially all of the thousands of different variations of the crafted armor. And your armor designers keep making all of these great changes to the armor, but every time they do that, it kind of sets me back to square one. And now that people are up into the higher ranks, they're not as willing to go back and collect all of those lower level mats and send in the stuff and kind of replace our old sets. We also have a gallery of player submitted it's basically so that people can showcase what their characters look like in game and what the armor that they're wearing in game.
Cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you work with Dolphy on the site, correct?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So what's your role versus the role of Dolphy on the site?
Okay, well, basically, I do the administration for the site, so I handle the web hosting and the domains and the ads. I also do all of the back-end work, what the page looks like, how it's set up. I handle the Twitter and Facebook accounts for the site. I also, anything that's sent in by players through our contact forms, I take care of that. I do all the posting for that.
Wow.
And then I've most of the guides that are actually on ESO Fashion, I wrote those. Dolphy, on the other hand, because she's so busy with her own site, Dolphy.net, she kind of handles more of the interaction on the official forums, you know, posting anything about our site or on Reddit, or she's the one that keeps me updated with what's going on because I'm always so focused on the website. She'll be like, hey, by the way, we're getting a new update.
Man, so you're busy.
Yes.
You do a lot.
Yeah, I mean, we've been seeing ESO Fashion all through launch up until now. How long have you been showcasing ESO Fashion on MMO Fashion?
When we decided to expand past the original game that we were working on, we created MMO Fashion. So ESO Fashion was actually the second game that we decided to cover, and we created MMO Fashion at the same time to give us a place to kind of talk about who we were, what games that we cover, and give us a place to say, okay, this is what's been going on with the websites, because the way that the fashion sites are set up, there really isn't anywhere where we can do that. So we created MMO Fashion and ESO Fashion about the same time, right around about a year ago now.
Wow.
That's awesome. So
I think we just killed your website, by the way.
Really?
So I hear.
Yeah, we've been having some issues lately, so it's been up and down. I've actually got somebody working on it right now.
Because everyone wants to check it out.
Yep.
So you mentioned that some of the content is player submitted. How much is, do you guys find yourselves versus what's submitted by the players?
Well, obviously, all of the player-submitted customized sets are from players.
Sure.
There are almost about 250 of those sets right now. But I'd have to say more than 95% of the rest of it is actually submitted by players. Originally, Delphi and I had gotten into the beta, and we were, collecting all that lower-level gear and putting it on the site. But since then, because things have changed so many times since beta, everything's been replaced by players.
Sure.
Wow. We know you've been covering the Crown Store and some of the upcoming costumes, like the Dragon Polymorphs. Can you tell us a little about some of your favorite fashions that are heading to ESO soon?
Oh, it's probably not the most popular pin, but I really like the individual sets. I love the cook's outfit and the blacksmith's outfit.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
The jester.
Well, do you have any last words?
Yeah.
While you've got an audience, anything you want to plug?
I've got an audience of almost 1,300 people.
No pressure.
No pressure at all. It'd be. We get a lot of great comments on the site, and I really love that. When people are pleased with our site and use it all the time. And if anybody wants to help out, we always are looking for, especially because they just changed. What's the new sets that they just changed recently? We could use some.
The Red Garden Orc armor sets.
Exactly. We could use some new pictures of those if anybody's willing.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody would be more than willing to help you.
Well, thank you, Exile. We appreciate it. Everyone check out ESO Fashion.
Yep.
And thank you for speaking with us, Exile.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah,
and
thanks
for all
me.
your work on the website. It's really good.
Thank you.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Isn't she nice?
She is lovely.
She's so nice.
As is her website. I know a lot of people started visiting it once we were in beta because, you know, they couldn't see what the armor was and they wanted to see some of the higher level stuff. So
yeah, we feature it a lot in the town crier as well. There's just a lot of content in there, so it's updated all the time. Very cool.
For sure.
Awesome. All right, so up next, we should probably talk to Eric Wrobel, don't you think?
Eric Wrobel coming up next. Oh my God.
Not interested in that.
There we are.
Eric Wrobel.
Oh, it's Eric Wrobel.
I'm back.
Oh my
I'm
gosh. Well, you've been really busy.
Yeah,
right?
we've been making some changes, working on update 6.
Between, you know, changing every single ability and then changing them again and then iterating on them again and fixing some bugs. I mean,
There've been a few bugs that have happened on the PTS.
I heard there was one pretty big one.
Yeah. So
No big deal. Just, you know, 8 million damage.
yeah, so
That's
we've
why
gotten
there's a PTS.
Yeah, I mean
Exactly.
that's the point of doing this test, right?
Yep.
And it was actually really valuable. That happened specifically when we gave people all the champion stuff. We gave them 3,600 points so they could get every single champion thing available. So with all those different bonuses and passives and stuff, everything was just sort of stacking up so high that effects were then getting stuck on their character.
Nice.
So there were a lot of crazy bugs going on with this one, right? It was like, yeah, people could do 5 million damage, people could become invincible, people could stack movement speed bonuses, so they're just like zipping around the map so fast. Like there is all kinds of wild stuff going on here.
Crazy.
So yeah, we were working the last couple days, but we do have that one fixed. So yeah, we'll be pushing that for the next.
Well,
update.
and like you said, you know, it's frustrating when you feel like, oh, we just got this new patch, but we can't even test because everyone's one-shotting me and I don't know what to do and exploits everywhere. But again, this is the PTS and the point of it is to test and find issues like this one before it goes live. So it wasn't a waste, even though we know it's frustrating.
Yeah, and there were, I mean, if only one person had found this bug and then just like, you know, submitted like a /bug report, that wouldn't have given us as much visibility. So it was kind of good that a lot of people were doing it, because then it was like, oh, holy crap, this is like a huge issue, and not
This
like,
is a thing.
oh, this is some random thing that happened to one person and it's like really hard to reproduce. But like we saw it was happening to a lot of people, and then we were able to get a very exact case of what was happening and then get a fix for it.
Sure.
But also we really appreciate all the people who did do legitimate testing in light of all this, and they, you know, they could have exploited, but they didn't. Instead, they were, you know, testing different abilities and trying out different builds and stuff. So that's also really useful, and we're glad people refrained. But I mean, I'm kind of glad people got to have, you know, have a little fun and see what it's like to do 5 million damage in a hit. You know, that's kind of cool too.
Did you want to talk a little? Oh, by the way, so sorry we didn't even really introduce you. Eric Wrobel is our lead combat designer. In case
right
you
here.
have not met him over
he's-
over Twitch yet.
He's been on this show so many times, I feel like.
Yes, well, you know, there might be new viewers.
No,
you
that's
don't know.
true. That's true.
You don't know.
And welcome, new viewers.
Welcome. Welcome to our stream. Do you want to talk about maybe some of the things that people can expect in 1.6.3, which is the next PTS patch? Maybe some of the fixes that you did?
Sure.
No?
No. Well, I just like, I know there might be some other questions that I would be answering with this, but
That's okay. We can reiterate.
let me start with like a sort of a broad overview of what we're trying to do in 1.6, which is increase class diversity. So we want there to be a wide number of builds that are available, and not like, oh, everyone's, you know, wearing sticks and skirts, or, you know, everyone's wearing medium armor and two-handed swords or something like that. We want the sort of the damage per second output to be pretty similar across all different classes and all different builds. And one of the things we've done sort of to go hand in hand with that, we've talked about this a little bit, but just to sort of reiterate it, is we added a bunch of stamina morphs to all the class abilities to so that if you were a stamina build, you would have more options for creating some sort of unique, interesting things. Because if you're a Magicka, you have all the class abilities in addition to a bunch of the other skill lines like the Mage's Guild, whereas if you're going for a stamina build, you kind of just have what's in the weapon line, and then like maybe you want to mix in a Fighter's Guild stuff. But in general, yeah, it just gives people a lot more different options, which is exactly what we're trying to do here.
Right on.
And so for the 1.6, we put out a lot of different builds because we made such a large number of changes.
You know, this show is live.
Oh yeah,
that's part of the fun.
Yeah, that's why it's exciting. Yeah, so we made a large number of changes to a huge number of game systems. So that's part of the reason we had it on the server for so long, and we were constantly updating sort of the gameplay of different things to make it interesting and compelling, fixing bugs, updating balance. And there were a number of different sources that we were getting feedback from as well. We certainly spent a lot of time reading the forums, watching different people stream on Twitch. And then also we did a whole bunch of guild meetings.
Yes, we did.
Where me and one of the community members here, we would sit down and talk to a guild for an hour or two and just sort of get their feedback about how it was going on PTS and just sort of the game in general. And that was really great because not only were they able to help talk about and identify some of the key issues and bugs that were happening to them in 1.6, but also some of them had some really good feedback on just stuff that was happening in 1.5 and just sort of like, oh, this thing has been really annoying me and it's like been in since live. Like, can you guys fix that? And we're like, well, we're fixing everything else in the game, so yeah, well, let's just fix this too, right?
Let's do another.
Yeah, so a specific example of that is the Sorcerer's Negate Magic ability, which is just a super incredibly powerful ability because you put it down in a pretty large area. It's a big purple bubble. You might have seen it.
I've seen some purple bubbles.
Yeah, or you're in the bath. You're like, hey, look, it looks like a negate magic. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so not only does it shut down all the spell casting in that area and silences everyone, it also removes all area effects, and it removes the area effects for the entire duration of the bubble, which is sort of 10 to 12 seconds, depending on what talents and stuff that you have. So that is incredibly powerful. Not only in PvE, but also in PvP, because you could sort of trivialize some of the fight mechanics in PvE, whereas in PvP, it's like, oh, the entire group of enemies now, they're like, I just countered all of their ultimates for this entire time. So we changed that one so that it would only dispel all of the area effect objects that people have put down, like a Dragon Knight standard. They only get dispelled instantly when you cast the ability and not for the whole duration of the ability. And then sort of since that's a pretty big nerf, we also reduced the cost of it by 10% just to sort of allow you to cast it a little bit more frequently. But the ability is still incredibly powerful because if 3 people put down their ultimates, you can do this and you countered all 3 of them and you also silence their whole team for the whole duration of the ability. So it's still really good, but that ability was just so completely dominating in a lot of areas that we wanted to bring it down a little bit.
Yeah, it makes sense.
You've been busy.
And it sort of encourages more interactive gameplay elements too, because you're like, well, do I use my negate magic right now at the beginning of the fight, or should I wait for a couple of them to drop their ultimates and then use it? So yeah, we're pretty happy with that change.
Nice. And that's what people can see next week, right? Or is that when?
No, that changes in right now on PTS.
For what's on PTS now?
Yeah, that's in right now. Sorry, you asked about stuff that was coming in the future, right?
For next week.
Yeah, for next week. Okay, I can tell you some stuff about that. I just got a little carried away. I just really wanted to talk about that.
Where are we? What week is this?
What studio am I in? I'm at ZOS, right?
Man, we've been doing these PTS patches every single week, so it's like everything just kind of starts running together, at least for me.
Yeah, there have been a lot of updates, and we've gotten a lot into every update too.
Yes, we have.
A lot.
Yeah, so that's really good, and I'm glad we're making this update as good as we possibly can.
Yeah, for sure.
But probably the most exciting update for the next PTS push, I would say, would be the adjustments that we did to the Sorcerer.
Hear that, Sorcerer?
So
we're going to talk about it.
certainly, yeah. certainly we're getting a lot of questions or a lot of feedback about the sorcerer saying the damage was too low. But it was sort of a little bit tricky problem because the damage is pretty good in PvP and it's pretty bursty too. Because like you can cast for a Daedric Curse, you can have it go off at the same time as a Crystal Shard, and both of them can explode at the same time, and then you're taking a huge chunk of the health bar. So we didn't want to increase their burst damage by a lot, but we still wanted their sort of sustain the damage they could do over a longer period of time to be good. So what we did is the lightning splash ability, which is one that people aren't using a lot, and as you recall, we were trying to get a lot more of the abilities used that were sort of weaker, not as powerful. So that one, we increased the duration from 4 seconds to 6 seconds, and then the morph of it, which previously would make it do more damage instantly and sort of be more bursty, we changed that to increase the duration further to 10 seconds. So now you can have a PvE rotation where you're putting that down once every 10 seconds, and it does a really, really good damage to the enemies in that area over that time. But in the PvP situation, people can just move out of the area. And then the morph choice is pretty compelling now too, because then you can pick if you want the really large area, which is good for PvP, or the really long duration, which is good for a lot of PvE, or maybe in PvP if people aren't really, moving out of the area, or you can sort of work with your team to sort of lock them down. That could still be, a useful choice as well.
How do you remember all this stuff?
Well, it helps when you're spending hours and hours of, you have to think of the idea.
It's your life.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have to, you're talking to people about the idea, and then you're actually like on the computer and you're like updating every little data cell.
Wait, you work
to, like,
on a
change.
computer?
Oh man.
Technology.
I only have one computer and 2 monitors, but like some people who work here have like 4 monitors and 3. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, just one.
I know some of QA
enough
has
for
multiple
me, right?
computers.
Yeah,
That's overload.
They're super busy.
Yeah.
Oh, and okay, so.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, so that was one key change for sorcerer damage. The other thing that we did is change one of the passives in the lightning tree. I believe it's called Expert Mage. It's the highest level one that you can get passive ability, and it used to reduce the cost of lightning spells. And we changed it so that it will increase your spell power for each sorcerer ability you have slotted on your hotbar. So that way, people who want to do sort of like a pet-focused build can do that build and be powerful. Whereas if you want to sort of focus on being more of a sorcerer, mage, spellcaster guy instead of someone who has pets to do their bidding, you can put a whole bunch of sorcerer abilities on your hotbar and then get really high spell power. Because the pets only scale off your max magicka, whereas your other abilities also scale off your spell power. So having that spell power bump won't increase the individual damage of your pets. So you can sort of pick and choose how you want to play your sorcerer there. So it adds a lot of customization. And if you just want to be like, I want to be like a really strong mage, you can just do all sorcerer abilities if you want and get a really strong bonus from that passive.
Nice.
Chat approves of this, by the way.
Good.
Just so you know. Anything else, or you want to just start answering questions?
I mean, there's a lot of questions, so maybe you should answer them, maybe? Let's see.
I'm pretty good at answering questions.
It's typically
I've been practicing.
how Q&A works. You answer the questions?
Yeah. So that was some answers, so now I guess I have some questions.
Yeah, they might even ask those questions, too. You never know. And then, of course, Twitch chat as well. If you have any questions, continue to
They
ask
probably
them.
don't have any questions.
Yeah, I think you're all out.
They're silent. It's like, okay, you answered everything.
All right, well, let's take some questions. We had a forum thread open during the week, so these are some questions from that thread.
That was a pretty popular thread too, wasn't it?
It was active. There was a lot of comments and a lot of views.
Great.
People liked it, but that's good. That's what we want, right?
Glad to
They
hear
like
it.
talking to you.
All right, well, here's a question from Haxen Schwammer.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The old Haxen Schwammer.
That should be a new weapon in the game.
Yeah,
It
you don't
should.
want to get hit with that. It's no good for your face.
Animation canceling has been declared an exploit for months, and you stated the devs are working on it. Customer service even states that using macros with keyboard and mouse to use animation canceling are okay. What is our position on this?
Yeah, so with animation canceling, we are embracing it. So if you want animation canceling is part of the game, and we want people to be doing it, and it's an interesting sort of skill mechanic, and and the timing is like a little different between different abilities, which is kind of interesting. So yeah, that is fully okay if you're doing that. Like, it's not a hack or an exploit. You're not cheating or anything. So continue to animation cancel and do more damage.
There you have it.
There you go.
Yep.
Answer. Lord Rickner asking, the change made to each patch to the PTS seems somewhat random. Can you share with us in a little more detail the goals and numbers that you were trying to achieve with the balancing that is being done with weapons and classes?
Sure.
So I kind of touched on that a little bit.
Yeah. There's some. I can give a little bit more detail. Yeah. So, like I was saying before, we were trying to, first off, get the damage numbers for the different classes and weapon specs to be pretty even and balanced. And then we were just also addressing a whole bunch of feedback that was coming in from other sources of things that had been in the game for a long time, like Negate Magic, where it was like, yeah, this isn't kind of quite playing the way we want, like where it was an ultimate trump card. Another example I can give of a change was with the one of the destruction staff abilities, the one that it's instant cast and it is the fire, frost, and shock damage all at the same time, and it's a really high damage ability. A change we made to this is that the base ability now does 10% less damage, but you can morph it. The force pulse, you can get that 10% damage back, and you can get the benefit of it doing area effect attacks against other enemies, or you can morph it in the other direction to the interrupt. So then, if you're in a PvP situation, you're making a much more interesting choice of, do I want to be able to interrupt enemies a whole bunch, like every time I cast, which is super strong, or do I want the extra damage? And even in PvP, like when you're leveling up your character, that's a really compelling choice too, because a lot of the monsters are casting things on you, and being able to instantly interrupt any of them at range is really powerful too. So
sure.
we basically just made that into a much more interesting, compelling choice instead of always just take force shock because it's super good.
Right. Nice. Here's one from Sashir. Is there any plan to make shields interact more normally with player effects, things like siphoning strikes, weapon enchants, crit damage, etc.? As it stands, why have HP when you can have a shield?
Great question.
Thank you.
Really, like the way you read that, like the cadence and the rhythm was like really great.
That's all I got.
I was like bobbing my head. I was like, yep, this is a question.
This is a good one.
Yeah, so this was the case of something where we got a lot of really great feedback from players on how the mechanics were working. One of the biggest things initially was we had changed the way ultimate generation worked, so that it gives you a buff when you're doing light and heavy attacks. However, if the targets had a shield on, then you weren't damaging them, so it wasn't giving you that ultimate buff. And it's like, yeah, we definitely want this entire game mechanic to function, even if they have a damage shield on. And then players were also complaining about a couple of key skills that weren't working either, and it's like, yeah, these are like really important sort of like class defining skills, so we should definitely make them function against damage shields as well. So the Sorcerer's Surge ability will now heal targets who have damage shields on them, and the Nightblade Siphoning Strikes will now be able to leech resources back from targets who have shields on them. So that sort of increases the breadth of abilities that'll be used, because we don't want it to be like, oh, well, now my ability's useless because he's using this type of ability.
Sure.
So really happy with the iteration and stuff we got on that. And then just while we're on the topic of damage shields, I don't know if you have a question about this.
I did. It was actually my next one, so go for it.
Do you want to say something?
No,
real quick?
you stole my thunder. It's good. Go ahead.
I mean, it's not too late. You could.
It's
too late.
It's too late.
Just
Okay.
go already.
All right. So one more thing is we also we updated the Cyrodiil buff so that you get 5,000 health now, where the value was sort of lower before proportionally. So you're getting more health with that buff. It's giving you the 15% damage reduction, and it's doing 15% reduced healing. One more component we added to that is also reduces the damage shield value by 15%, because it just wasn't really fair or balanced that healing got reduced where the damage shield didn't. So that should help bring the damage shields more in line with the other types of abilities in the game when you're in Cyrodiil.
Nice. You feel happy about that?
Are you asking me?
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking at you.
He's looking right at you. He wants to know.
I couldn't tell from the. I couldn't even say it.
Oh my lord.
Oh man, I haven't had a good giggle attack in a while.
Let's see. Here's one from Luna Ray.
Wait, what about the Snizer one?
Which one? Oh, you're right. I missed it.
I like that one because
Snizer.
it actually goes
Snizer.
with this other one I was going to ask too.
Sniserb_ESO. Are there changes coming to the Sorcerer class to make Magicka builds viable outside of the pet build with 3 toggles in each bar? I want to play a pure caster and is not possible right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so that
there
was the
was
one I pretty much was talking about previously, where it's like, yeah, now we have that new passive, so you can get a whole bunch of spell damage. And yeah, also Lightning Splash is a lot, you know, since the duration is so long. Yeah, that's a really good damage ability for Sorcerer now.
Cool.
Oh, let's see. I'm trying to find a question from Twitch chat. A lot of these I think we've actually kind of touched on. Any plans for active racial skills?
Ooh, that's, well, all right.
Intriguing.
So don't be like, oh my god, why isn't this in the game right now or anything?
This guy.
But we at one point did have some conversations about making racial ultimates, and I think that is a really cool thing to help sort of define and like give pride about the specific race that you picked. But I mean,
sounds like that's on the back burner.
It's not, yeah, like it's not, we're not like actively working on it right now or anything. It's just like, oh yeah, that's like a fun thing that we might do in the future.
So the oven's preheating, but there's nothing cooking.
Metaphor man strikes again.
Absolutely. That is basically, yeah,
Okay.
exactly what I was saying.
Here's one from Luna Ray. I tried to read before, but was interrupted.
Oh yeah, I was really excited about that question.
Weapon swap feels fine on live. On 1.5, it feels fine. But what is the reason behind changing it again? What issue are you addressing?
Yeah, so we did a couple of updates to that to get it so that you wouldn't have the double swap issue, where you would like press the button and then it wouldn't swap, and then you'd press it again and then it would like double swap or whatever, and then it would just not be on the right hotbar at all. So we were working on cleaning up that issue, and we're still looking at making it a little bit more responsive. But
Gotcha.
in addition to that, we have also tried to make it smoother in a lot of other situations as well. Like for example, when you're roll dodging now, we have an update that should be coming, where you can weapon swap while you're roll dodging, whereas before you would like roll dodge and then you would like press it and you're like, come on, like do the thing, and and it was just like completely blocking your input. So now you'll be able to do that whenever you want to.
Yeah, that's gonna be great.
Yeah, should be a lot more responsive.
Nice.
Remember we had a PvP event maybe a week or two ago. Sakadon's asking, what did we learn from that PvP event? I mean, from what I remember, there may have been a few.
There were a few crashes.
A little bit of lag.
Yeah. So I want to apologize because it was definitely frustrating.
It was all your fault.
It was, well.
Is that what you're getting at?
I mean,
it wasn't your fault.
It's hard to blame one specific person. Like
I thought that's where you were going.
It took a lot of people messing up to get to there, right? No. Well, so yeah, it was a little bit frustrating, right? Because it was like log in, crash, and
everyone was so excited to run around and start killing you and killing you.
Well, I was talking to some people and they really wanted to play on my team, so we were gonna like get a group together and stuff. Yeah, so it didn't go great from like a fun standpoint, but from a development standpoint, we got a lot of really useful data and metrics and stuff, and we were able to solve some key crashing issues, as well as just sort of fix, because we just added and changed so many new abilities and stuff, so we were able to sort of like clean up some effects on some other abilities too, so they won't be hanging around for so long. So even though there was like a very little amount of time people were actually able to spend fighting each other, it still gave us a lot of really good data, and we're really glad you guys logged in and you were excited. And I'm sorry it wasn't like a super fun time, but yeah, it was really helpful for us, and we're really grateful.
It was for the good of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, every once in a while in chat, someone would say, "Are there really devs here?" And I'd go to type, "Yes, there are," and then it would crash. And I'd be like, now you don't know. But
I had people asking,
we certainly were there.
Are you even real? I'm like, yes, I'm me.
It's Gina.
Yeah. Very nice. Let's see.
They're just so excited to have the real Gina. They didn't think it could be true.
You know.
Well, here she is.
I got nothing to say to that.
Here's.
Okay. Good.
Here's one from Pancake Tragedy.
Oh,
Which is
that like
never
you
a
forgot
tragedy.
your syrup maybe?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
It's like you go to flip it
It's
and it
just
just kind of
dry
goes
pancake.
halfway off the pan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tragedy.
Or you're like you have a plate and it's like all you got your butter and everything and then it just like topples over. That would be a pancake
that
tragedy.
would be a tragedy.
Yeah.
I'd still eat it.
Or maybe if you burn it, like it starts bubbling. And anyway, go ahead.
and
We got a lot of pancake tragedies over here. Is basically what's going
I
on.
just want to ask the question because I'm getting really hungry. Can sorcerers get a ranged instant cast single target class ability that isn't an execute so that we don't have to rely on weapon skills for DPS?
Whew, man. Yeah, so they do have crystal fragments, which can proc the instant cast. Daedric Curse is a really good option for an instant cast ability. It's not quite as spammable as other ones, but when it blows up, it hits pretty hard. And then, as I'm saying for like third time now, Lightning Splash is a super good damage ability. So you can move that in with your crystal shards, and then just in general, yeah. Since you have more spell power, like your just all your class abilities can be sort of more powerful. Which, there's if you're spamming crystal shards, there's some amount of risk because it's a cast time ability. But now like not as many people are running interrupts potentially because they're trading off the extra damage versus the interrupt. So
Sure.
I think it's going to be a lot more dynamic and fluid because of that.
Nice.
I got one from the Twitch chat room
Ooh.
asking what advantage. Wait, this isn't a full sentence. Hold on.
Just say some words.
What,
and
what
I'll
advantage
make
does
something up.
using light armor bring? Currently, the armor only has disadvantages when compared to other DPS armor. Medium.
Yeah, so something we added recently, I think it'll be in the next update, is we increase the spell penetration you get. So you'll be a lot better at going through the target's spell resistances, which will be good against heavy armor. And then in general, one of the nice things about light armor is it's just really flexible and versatile because there's so many different abilities that it can work with. It can work with damage abilities and it can work with healing abilities, whereas if you're in medium armor, yeah, you'll have slightly more defense, but you won't have quite as many options of different healing abilities or just general defensive things that you can do. So yeah, there's kind of advantages and disadvantages to both of them, and I think flexibility is a really important one that it's kind of hard to grasp and figure out exactly what the value is to versatility, but I mean it is extremely powerful as well, I would say.
That's good to know. Here's one from Deduk. Why was Trials gear nerfed? And how are you going to make the most difficult content in the game worth playing? Yeah. What are you
going to do about that?
So we were definitely sort of tweaking and adjusting the numbers a whole bunch. So specifically with a couple of the trial sets, I know they had multiple critical strike slots on them. So we did end up changing critical strike from 2% back to 4% because getting critical strike was not nearly as good as getting max magicka or getting spell power in those item slots, and that was sort of not a problem before because you got overcharged if you were getting those things, so they ended up being a lot less effective. But since critical strike, in addition to not doing that, it also doesn't generate additional ultimate anymore. So yeah, we ended up putting critical strike back to where it was to help compensate for those things.
Gotcha.
And then the other part of that is I know one of the sets, it used to reduce the monster's armor and spell damage by 10%, and we changed it to 5%. And that was specifically because that basically ignoring the monster's armors is a lot more important of a stat now because all the monsters actually have armor and spell resist. Before the values on that were so low and so negligible, it didn't, like, you could easily ignore all of their armor, so that set thing wasn't very powerful. So in some ways we actually made it more powerful even though we decreased the value of it. So and that piece is really great in particular because it'll help your entire raid and not just yourself too. So we did a couple of calculations when we were figuring out that change.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
We asked a lot of questions about Sorcerer. I have one for Templars.
Oh yeah, we love all the classes.
We do?
Yeah.
Can you explain why you feel the Templar focus charge needs a global cooldown? I'm kind of confused since very few skills in the game have one. And
Yeah, no, that's a good change. That's just a bug, and we're looking into getting it fixed.
Well, that was easy.
Bam.
There you go. Done.
Here's one from Sublime. Right now, there's no way to tell how many
Isn't that a band?
It's a great band.
Are they asking us a question? Did they play our game?
Oh, man,
Yes.
I hope
So this is from the '90s band Sublime.
I really want to answer their question. I'm really glad they're talking to us about this game.
Right now, there's no way to tell how many champion points a player has spent by looking at the HP bar. While this is not really important for PvE, it is incredibly important for PvP. Do you have something in mind to indicate the amount of champion points spent, similar to AV8 ranks?
Yeah, I was actually talking to this very thing to Maria, who was one of the key designers on working on that system, and she said that they were looking into creating sort of a more systemized thing that would look into your champion rank and your gear level to sort of figure out what your approximate player power was. But that sort of thing, they want to do that once veteran rank is taken out, because then if someone's not veteran rank 14, you're like, well, what is his power level? Like, I have no idea.
Right.
So yeah, we're looking into some sort of solution to that in the future, which will have, it'll add up the power that you get from the gear and all your champion points and then you'll see a number, and then when you can see that guy's number, you're like, oh, I don't want to fight him in PvP because he's a 3,000 and I'm only a 300 or something like that.
Cool.
Just off the record, I mean, nobody's listening here.
All right, it's just us. There's no one here, just the three of us.
Marwood's excited.
There's been a lot of chit chat on the forums about the 400,000 XP for a champion point. Is that staying? Do you know?
Yeah, as far as I know, yes. I mean, really the thing that helps you get it quickly is the enlightenment. And that you get like 4 times faster when you're enlightened, and you get a new like level or 2 of enlightenment every single day. So that really helps speed it up. But yeah, right now that's the value we're going with. And we certainly will be adding new things into the game that sort of work with that system. One potential concern I've heard from a number of players is like, well, once the champion system's been out for an hour, and some people, or not an hour, once it's been out for an hour and everyone has max points. No, sorry.
Man, that's quick.
yeah. God, I hope they don't get it that fast. That would be really bad. But once it's been out for a year, and some people have been playing and they have a ton of points, whereas a new player comes in and they don't have, they're just like rank 1 or whatever, so they don't have any points. They're going to be a lot less powerful in PvP and PvE and stuff like that. So certainly we're not quite at that point, right? Because it hasn't been a year yet. Yeah.
It's not even out yet.
But we have talked about a couple of potential solutions to that. One would be making the experience required for a champion point maybe the first couple hundred levels take half as much or something like that, so those people can advance really fast. Or we give those people a huge amount of bonus enlightenment, so they would still have to play and work to get those levels, but they can get it at a much more accelerated rate.
Cool.
Right on. How you feeling? You want to answer some more?
I have a good one.
Yeah.
I have a good one.
Do you have any more pancake questions? Big fan of those.
This isn't a pancake question, but this is a question that you would be the best person to answer. So I'm going to give this to you.
All right. Well, it's good.
This is from Lai Kyrgyz. When will you make target or practice dummies available in the game? And I think you know why I'm asking you this, of all people, right?
Oh, okay. I guess I could tell you about target dummies.
Sure.
Why don't you talk to us about those?
So we have a target dummy that we use as developers to test, and it's just like basically like a naked Breton guy.
Yeah. What are they called?
He's got like a hat, and the target dummy's name is Wrobel.
Yes, it is.
Someone put that in there as a prank one day, and I was like, that's all right. Well, you'll probably change it, right?
Yeah, that's funny. That'll never stay.
I'm like, I'm sure someone will yell at you and make you change it, and then no one ever did. So now I get a whole bunch of bugs where it's like, step 1, create an Eric Wrobel target dummy, and then it's like,
hit Eric Wrobel.
Step 2, pull out your sword. Step 3, slash the Eric Wrobel down the stairs and kick out his teeth. And I was like, you can't even do that last part in our game. That's not necessary.
That's mean. So
can players ever see their own Eric Wrobel?
That's part one. So part two, is,
Right.
is that something maybe in PTS or something that they'll ever see?
Yeah, that's something we've talked about doing. Some people were saying like we want target dummies so badly we would even buy them on the Crown Store, and then you could spawn your own wherever you wanted to.
Sure.
And then we were talking through some of the different design things you would have to account for, like.
Right.
You would want it so that only you could see it, so that someone else couldn't like attack your target dummy and mess up your numbers.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of sort of nuances to it that we're working through. But
Sure.
yeah, we are looking into trying to do something like that.
Very
That'd be cool. You stole my question. I was going to ask that one next.
Well,
There's
got a quick up.
I mean, there are only, 8 pages of questions? All right, so here's another Templar question. Is there a chance that the Templar skill Puncturing Strikes will be changed before Update 6 goes live? And then he goes on to explain why he feels like it should change.
okay.
It has to do with the CC immunity. Doesn't feel like it's balancing it out.
Yeah, well, that ability hasn't had CC immunity for a long time, and we kind of like let it slide for a while. But yeah, we got a lot of feedback, and we were testing it and doing PvP and PvE, and it was just really powerful that you could stun the same target basically infinitely. You could just cast the ability over and over and over again, and they would just be permanently stunned. And they would never get the CC immunity, so if they were like lower stamina or something, you just keep doing damage and killing them. And then also it was doing more single target damage than any other ability in the game, and also it was AoE, and also it gives a stun. So we also reduced the damage from like PTS to PTS, but the overall damage coefficients on it are actually higher than they are on 1.5. So we did end up buffing the damage of the ability, and now if you're a Spear Templar and you're using that ability a lot, you can do a lot. You can do a lot of damage, and it is it's pretty similar to the uppercut ability from the two-handed. The way it applies a stun to the target, but there's like a little bit of cast time, so the enemy still has time to react to it, where they could like roll dodge or try to block out of the way so they don't get stunned by it.
Man, you're Mr. Answers.
Whew, man.
You're good at
I need
this.
like a hat for answering.
I mean, you got
I was gonna say.
ask and
Right
you shall
here.
receive. You want it?
It's a knowledgeable
There's one right
grab.
behind you too. If you
Oh,
want.
that's actually.
That's a
really-
real hat.
Oh,
But I don't
my
think
God.
you can talk through it though. That's the problem.
Yeah, I don't know if my neck's strong enough. That looks pretty heavy.
Yeah.
That's a serious hat.
We'll answer a couple more. Here's one from the Twitch chat. Many people are complaining that having a lot of champion points is the only way to be viable in PvP and endgame PvE. It's making many angry that grinding will be forced to become a huge part of the game, but with grind spots nerfed, grinding will take a lot of time. Are you guys going to address this potential issue?
Yeah, so that's kind of one of the reasons we have Enlightenment is to keep the balance between people who play a lot and people who don't play quite as much. So that way, like, even if you're not super hardcore, you can still get 1 or 2 points every day because you can get them really quickly.
Whether you're online or not as well, right? So if you're
well, yeah, you
offline-
still get the Enlightenment, but
Correct.
yeah, you do eventually need to actually play the game
Yes,
to
of
get
course.
the points, which
Yep.
makes sense, right?
Yep, as you should.
And then there's just a lot of things in general with the way we've constructed the system, so it's balanced between the two different people. For example, when you're spending points, the first point you get a 1% increase to damage or something like that, and then when you're spending your 50th point, you're getting 0.1%. So even if someone has a lot more points, the total damage they're doing, it's not like they're just doubling your damage now, but they do get some advantage. So like, it's still a reward and it's still a bonus, for hardcore people, and it's supposed to take a long time, but it's not supposed to give people, a gigantic huge, so like, oh, this person can't even fight me at all, like I just look at them and they fall over kind of thing.
All right. This can be one of the last ones.
Make it good.
Unless you have another. You can certainly ask one more. I won't take the last one. Are you addressing the PvE concerns about pets being targeted by bosses and being targeted by healing spells? Right now, pets can wipe raids when bosses target them directly, and they drain healers' resources by having lower health than other players, instantly drawing healing spells.
Yeah, that's a really good question, actually. You picked a solid one there.
Didn't I?
Yeah. I certainly don't work on directly with the bosses, but I can certainly give that feedback to the boss team. One thing in particular that we've done.
Oh, so it's more of their problem than yours. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that.
Well, I mean, I like to, sort of work with everyone and try to fix any sort of like major problems that players are having.
Well, that's nice of you.
And I mean, it's like it's a combat related thing, right?
Yeah.
Like they're fighting people, they're fighting monsters, so they're like using their abilities and stuff. Yeah. One thing we did with the pets in this update is we did give them a significantly increased reduction to area effect abilities. So the problem where the pets are stealing all the heals will happen a lot less because they don't just soak a huge amount of damage when they're standing in that area effect. They only take like 10% of the damage now. So they'll be a lot more resilient in that respect. And then it's certainly something we could look at tweaking is making them completely immune to heals. But we do have some logic on different types of abilities. So the smart heals, for example, will not heal the pets at all. So if you like really want to make sure you're getting a heal off on a player on a critical one, you can use one of those abilities. Whereas the area effect abilities just heal the 6 lowest targets. So if the pet's really low, it'll heal that and a bunch of other players that were low. So it'll end up healing the 5 lowest players and the lowest pet if one pet was standing in the area. So that's something we can definitely evaluate in the future if you feel like after 1.6 you're still having these problems. But yeah, we'd like to just sort of see how it feels when you play it.
Sure. Cool. All right, I guess I'll take the last one. No pressure.
This better be a good question.
I have a good question too. Sorry, I keep one-upping you. No, go ahead.
No, just take
Mine's
it.
actually not that good.
All right.
Just kidding.
Okay, here's one. Is someone looking into the fact that vamps will take more fire damage in combat due to the way that fire resist glyphs scaled, plus possible reduction in Dunmer racial resistance, even though you've reduced vamp fire damage by 10%? Go.
Whew.
Got all that?
Wow, that was that was a mouthful there. Yeah, so we can certainly look at tuning those different individual resistances. I do think overall it is a little bit too punishing to be a vampire. Certainly we've noticed in some encounters where the bosses are using fire attacks, like you just get killed instantly and there's like nothing you can do. So yeah, I'd like to sort of tweak the balance so it's like you're not quite as super powerful, but you're not also quite as weak. So like there's less sort of variability between that when you're a vampire. So yeah, we'll look into those specific cases a little bit more.
Nice.
There was a question on the forum. Somebody asked if you like pina coladas.
And getting lost in the rain?
Yes, it was that one.
What's the answer? We gotta know.
Look at him. He's like, nope.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know how PG the stream is, but like I drink one. Yeah, I drink one.
Well,
There you go.
there you go.
Good last question, huh?
Yeah, it was great.
Gotta end strong. High note.
Well, thanks for coming down.
Yeah.
And answering all
absolutely.
these questions. I know you've been really busy.
Yeah, my mouth's a little dry. That was a lot of questions.
Well, we got a pina colada waiting for you.
Okay.
water, nice.
Yeah, I got water. All right, 2 more hours. Let's go.
Oh man, I'm sure everyone would be happy to throw questions at you.
Yeah, I actually have to go back upstairs and fix more bugs for the PTS. But
All right. Well.
Fair enough. Well, thanks
Thank
again
you.
for coming down.
Yes.
It's
And
nice
thank you
having
for your questions.
yep,
everyone.
thanks for having me. Thanks for talking shop with me about pancakes, all that good stuff.
That's what we're here for.
That's our
Tall
job.
stacks.
Yep.
Indeed. Well, thanks again, and well, I know we'll talk to you soon, but hopefully you'll be back
Yeah,
on the show soon.
absolutely. Yeah, I love coming on the show, talking to guys, answering viewers' questions, all kinds of good stuff.
Sweet.
Right on.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay.
Well, next we're actually going to do another giveaway. This guy.
Yeah.
Right? Are we going to do this one?
You're absolutely right.
Well, I mean, it's going to be a wrapped one.
It's a wrapped
But
one, but this is a.
It'll be that.
This is
style.
what it looks like. This is what we call a mud crab. There
Indeed.
you go.
You have to give people the word, though. I don't remember what it was.
So the word will be, I think I said sand.
Sand.
Yeah. Let's put sand in chat. If you put mud crab in chat, you are just wrong. Did you do it?
Look, oh, I see a couple people. Nope.
Sands. Let's do sand.
Just singular sand.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Oh, look at all the poor people saying mud crab first.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Now they got it. Sand.
Sand.
Well,
Sand.
Sand.
All right, we'll wait a little bit more and then pick a winner.
What are you doing this weekend?
Going to the sand.
Gonna dig my toes into some sand?
I'm going to lay on the sand.
No, you're
Get a
not.
tan.
It's like 0 degrees outside.
Play with my band.
Get a tan.
Oh, don't encourage him.
Read some Ayn Rand. All right, so
Anyway,
do we have
please a winner.
do we have a winner? Do we have a winner? Survey says.
Oh man, somebody's just losing it back there.
The Ayn Rand line, I think.
Oh, I like this one. Do you want to read it?
That's why she's laughing.
The winner is Chuggabrewski. Congratulations, Chuggabrewski. You have just won a mud crab. Isn't that fun?
Those are awesome.
Chuggabrewski. That's so cool. Jess will reach out to you on Twitch. Don't forget, check your inbox and the other tab as well, because sometimes Twitch thinks we're spam. And give your information, and we're going to send you a fresh, plastic-wrapped mud crab. No sand included.
Well, I guess next we should get into our next segment, which is
do it.
going to be Life at ZOS. Well, joining us for our Life at ZeniMax Online Studios is one of our systems designers, Doug Carroll.
Hi, Doug.
Hi guys.
Welcome.
Thanh you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming down and joining us and
Oh, yeah, no
sitting in the
problem.
hot seat today.
Yeah, it's pretty toasty.
Well, Wrobel was
Wow.
just sitting there just firing answers left and right.
Inspiring something. So, it's just a joke about warm seats. So, can you tell us? It's not.
Why don't you please make us stop these bad jokes? Tell us what you do here.
So I'm a systems designer here at ZOS. Basically, systems designers, we make game mechanics that are non-combat related. So
Cool.
that's pretty much what we do. So
What are the types of systems that you actually worked on?
the systems that I work on are world interactivity. So when you go out in the world and you can click on things and open up barrels and crates and get stuff out of them. I also worked on the die system.
Oh, cool. That's everybody's favorite.
That it was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool system.
It's right there on the screen.
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah.
Look at that.
Where did that come from?
You
Well, I
know.
mean, it came from our game, obviously. But man, Brian's on the ball here.
And in addition to that, I also work on game achievements, and I do. Currently, I've been working on a lot of the help guide and pop-up tutorials and things like that you see throughout the game.
Cool.
Nice.
Yep.
So when you did the die system, did you like come up with all the names, or did you do like the colors and the names to go along with them? Was that all you?
So the die systems actually, it was a really big collaborative process by a lot of people. And it wound up getting handed off to me at the end to finish it up and in the final stretches and do the legwork. And so yeah, a lot of what I did on the die system was I paired up dies with achievements, so basically went through all the achievements in the game and was like, all right, what would be good for a die, right? And then we went through and I started pairing up dies, and then I had the idea that, oh, what would be awesome is if these dies were like contextually named with the thing that you're doing.
Sure.
So I'm not one who's big into the lore of Elder Scrolls Online, but luckily we have
Luckily, we have so many others that are.
we have a huge editorial team, and also my friend Joe Lapata, who helped name a lot of those dies that you see in the game. So yeah, I picked out all the dies, attached them to achievements, and then we also I came up with the die station as well and the design for that. So
You know who else is here that knows a lot of lore? Is the lore master.
I don't get it.
are you talking about
Lawrence?
Yeah.
Remember, he works here.
Yeah, but why are you looking at me?
I don't know.
Oh.
You know who else we have here? Anyway, jeez.
I don't get it. Oh,
It wasn't a joke, it was a fact. Am I not allowed allowed to be serious?
Oh, I guess, yeah. Okay. Well, that's true. There are lore masters here, isn't that?
We
Right.
do have those. Yes.
Yeah, I thought there was more there. All right.
Sorry, that was,
So
that was disappointing.
Can you tell everyone how you basically became a systems designer? I mean, did you start that at ZOS? Is that what that wasn't English, but you know what I'm trying to say? Was that your first gig?
This is my big break, as you will. So yeah, this is my first job. I was actually in college when I got this job. It was an intern program that ZOS was having at the time that I applied for.
So young.
So young.
So young and fresh.
Young and fresh. Yep. So basically, applied for the internship, and turns out, hey, here I am.
And here you are. You got it.
Yeah, I got it. So
Nice.
that was a pretty cool moment. And the interview process in and of itself was pretty cool and pretty unique. I've never actually been through anything like that before. So to be still in school and get a job here it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
So you went from intern to the systems team.
Yeah,
right?
to the systems team. Yeah. So when I was an intern here, I did a lot of data entry, and so all of the world interactables that you see around the game, like me and two other guys, basically Brandon and James, they went through. We went through the game and we applied loot tables and things like that to all of these various objects in the world, and that was my life for about a year and some change. And,
I know.
And multiple desk relocations, which ended me right by the community team for like the last 7 or 8 months. So there was some good giggles.
That was probably your favorite location in the office,
100%,
right?
yeah. I mean,
He's probably so happy to be somewhere else now.
I mean, I started by the coffee machine. That was pretty cool. Like on the.
That's a good spot if you have to
that
have
was
a
that
spot,
was a really good spot, and then
nice.
moved around and yeah.
Cool.
Right on.
It's pretty cool.
So aside from sitting near us, that one time, what is your favorite part of the job here?
My favorite part of the job here, I would have to say, is the collaborative process that we have here as a team. Like our team, we do a lot of talking about everything that goes on and goes into the game. Like everything that you see that comes out of the systems team, even the gameplay team for that matter, which I've been helping out on over the last couple of days. Like there is a lot of discussion on everything. So if I had to pick like what my favorite part was, I would say that, because ideas that you would never think turn into like the coolest, most broad, vast systems, because you had the kernel, but like they've just turned it into something you never thought it could be. And
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Nice.
Nice collaborative effort.
Yeah.
Very nice. So can you?
Where did Borat come from in that?
He's deep within at all
Very
times.
nice.
Can you talk about the process of what it is like to create? I mean, I know you said you like to work with other teams, but can you talk about what that's like for you and some of the things you've done?
So like the process of creating, or
yeah, like creating the any system that you've touched, basically. Give me an example.
So, the process of creating usually, at least for me, it starts with something getting thrown at me and saying, "Hey, Doug, do this thing," and then
That's a good first step.
And then I'll sit there and I'll think about it, and then I usually, what we'll do is I'll go and I'll walk around my cube, and I'll go sit on this sit by this window where my lead Phil and another senior designer here, his name's Michael Schroeder, their spots are, and we just talk and we just throw ideas out, and we're like, oh, wouldn't this be cool if we do this? Well, no, it would actually be cooler if we did that.
Yeah.
And then like that is. And to me, like that's like the best, like how the best ideas happen, right?
I've heard it through the grapevine that you're really good at that, just yelling out ideas.
Just yelling out ideas? Well, I do that a lot.
Good ideas.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Some of them maybe.
Some stick, some don't.
Let's hope.
Yeah.
Right?
Anyway, so you all start screaming at each other about neat ideas. How does it actually turn into a thing?
Spirited discussion.
Okay, sorry. You don't yell at each other.
Yeah, we don't yell at each other. It's spirited discussion. I read a post that we'd put up about the die system, about how there was a lot of spirited discussion. I'm keeping that.
Yeah.
That's mine.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, that's probably
That's a
accurate.
nice way to put it. So what's one of your favorite things that you've contributed to creating?
My favorite thing, man.
Just one of them. It's fine.
Just one of them.
Doesn't have to be the favorite.
Well, I think the thing that's probably the closest to me, because it was something that I'd prototyped out, and then we'd taken it up the ladder, and we decided that as a company it was something that we wanted to do. I call it like the WYSIWYG gear. It's like what you see is what you get, like type deal. And that idea actually has turned into other things in the game. But the base idea was, back after we had launched on PC, we had the idea to do all of the weapons and armor throughout the game as clickables. And there were reasons behind that, but I think the biggest one was, well, we have so much weapons, and we have so many weapons and armor throughout the game. It's like, that would really increase the amount of world interactivity that we had, right? Like if we could harness all that and turn it into interactables.
Yeah, totally. And I remember people saying like, hey, I see that thing there. Why can't I just take it?
Yep. And so we felt the same way, right? And so we sat down and we were looking into how we could do it. And I threw the idea out there, well, why don't we just do like the base item? Like we don't have to do like weapon racks or anything like that. Like let's just do the sword. Like let's just do the bow. Like
Let's just do it.
Yeah, let's just do it. We have the technology, right? Basically, and then so that idea, we were like, okay, well, how can we do this? And then we had all these restrictions on like what gear or what item visuals are supposed to come in with specific levels and whatnot, and that had propagated up across the first pass, and then so we put that into the game, and then once we got it to live, or it got to live, and I was like, man, this is really cool, but you know what would be better is if like I see that Dunmer helmet right there that's like olive drab green or whatnot, and I get that same exact Dunmer helmet in olive drab green, and everybody was like, you're crazy. Essentially, that was the going.
They were probably like, "Why don't you do that?"
that was the going. That was the going notion at the time, and I was like, "But that would be awesome." So that actually started. I was out at lunch with Joe Lapata, who's a character artist here, and we were chatting about it, and he was just like, "Yeah, well, you could do it like this. It's like real simple." And I was like, "That might actually work." So came back from lunch, prototyped the thing,
and then it was done.
And then, like I prototyped, I believe it was 5 pieces of armor originally. It was the Dunmer set, so it was like the heavy head, the heavy chest, the heavy gauntlets, the legs, and a sword and a shield, because I like playing sword and shield because it's just awesome, right? And I was like, play this. I put it in front of Ed Knapp, who at the time, I believe it was Phil, and then. But he was just a senior designer. He was like, "That's cool." And then we put it in front of Ed, and then Ed was like, "Yeah, this is awesome. We should totally do this. How did you do this?" And we scoped it out, and we did it. And it was a lot of work that wouldn't have been possible without James and Brandon, because they helped me go through. We had to create a unique item for every interactable in the world, and we had to match up the item visual with the tints, and all. It was just it was a ridiculous amount of work, and we pulled it off.
Yeah,
and
we
it was
have
awesome.
you to thank for this.
Oh well,
thank
you know, yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Most excellent.
And then that idea actually propagated out to the last what's on PTS right now with the provisioning revamp, where you can finally get like apples from an apple basket, and
I
that
preferred aged meat from my apple baskets, but
no, never aged meat.
No. Okay.
That was something that we had always had here, and I mean, when you're working on a game of this magnitude, right? There's priorities and things that happen. And the amount of work to get it to fall in line. And when Phil came on as the crafting lead, figured out a way to squeeze it in and work it in there. And I'm like, I was so ecstatic the day that I could walk over to an apple basket and like pick up an apple from it.
Yes.
I was like, this is it.
It makes sense.
We have done it.
People are happy.
We're good.
Yes.
Like, ship it. Of course it wasn't that simple.
No, but very cool nonetheless.
Yeah.
So let's say I am an aspiring game designer. I want to be you. I want to be Doug. I want you to tell me how that happens. What do I have to do to be you? To be the next Die King, the next King of Clickyville, the next provisioning master. What do I have to do?
Man,
Go.
Those are some big shoes to fill.
That's a lot of titles. I don't know. Well,
your fault. Go ahead.
it's my fault. So I mean, to me, my story is so like unique in the way that it occurred.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, like, if you want to do this for a living,
mm-hmm.
like, and you want to be a designer and you want to get in the games industry, you should download game engines and you should play around in them, mm-hmm. right? Like, to me, that's how I learn, right? Like, tangible, hands-on stuff, right?
Sure.
And so if this is what you want to do, like, that's the first step. Download, I don't know if we can say names of various engines that are out there that you can download, but like, download a couple of them, get in there, script some stuff, play around with it. If you don't know how to script, go on YouTube, look at things. Like, that's the first step.
Sure.
And do a lot of work on your own to understand the basics of it. And that, I mean, that's the best advice anyone can give, because that's what that's what gets you good at something.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So can you talk at all about what you're currently working on?
Man, so I've got a couple things, but I don't know if I can.
You can say no. It's okay.
No, I can't. I got a couple things.
The bullseye like makes its way onto your forehead, so other people will know if it's a problem. Yeah.
Yeah. No. So we're not going to go down that road. No, I have a couple things that are in the prototyping stages that I'm working on that are pretty cool.
Nice.
They've sparked some talking around the studio. So
very cool.
Things like that are happening.
Such a tease.
Right. And then in addition to that, I've been helping the gameplay team clean up some of their bugs that they have in the back.
Cool.
So that's what I'm currently doing right now. Yeah.
Well, I can tell you that people would really like to be able to dye shields,
mm-hmm.
dye weapons,
mm-hmm.
dye pet armor.
I would too.
Okay. Well,
just
throw that out there.
Hey, it is something that we've heard a lot of feedback on.
It is not outside the realm of
possibility. It is not outside the realm of possibility.
If there was a realm, it would not be on the outside. It would be.
Here's the realm. It's like Hereish or something.
Something like that, right? Yeah. Cool. No, I mean that's
good to know.
That's something that we've heard the feedback and we agree, right? So yeah.
Cool. You want to take any questions from Twitch chat?
Well, somebody was really wanting a cool black dye that isn't tied to a PvP achievement. Okay. I know, wasn't there a discussion once about how many different blacks we have? I think we were just talking about it the other day.
That was something that was a good learning experience for me. So yeah, when we did the first pairing of the dyes, and you guys took a screenshot of that window, and it had the dye.
Well, don't blame me. I didn't do it.
It had the dye. I think it was named like Elenir Black at the time or something like that. It was tied to a completion of a trial. And that went up on Reddit, and it was just like, why would you do this? Why would you do all these things to us? That. And I was just like, oh man, there's so many other black dyes in the game, but that was the only one we showed.
Right.
So what we did to compensate for that is, like, we have Cold Harbor Ash Black, mm-hmm. which you can get from completing the main quest, like the pinnacle moment in the game, right? Mm-hmm. Just go and do the things, and you get a black dye for it. So that's one that's not tied to any PvP. Sure. We also have another one. I think it might be in the Ebonheart lands. You go into Ebonheart and you explore all the interesting locations and whatnot, mm-hmm. and I think you'll get a black dye for that as well.
So there are ways to get black.
Oh, there are tons of black dyes. That discussion was had for about a week or two, you know, and I totally get it. Black is one of those colors that is very...
it's popular.
Yeah.
White
a lot of people
also.
Yep. There should be a couple whites. There should be a couple whites.
Somebody was saying that there's a white dye that actually turns tan or blue. I mean, I know you probably didn't know
way
this,
that
but...
so the
You know what? I gotta get them in when I can.
The way that the tinting actually works, the dyeing actually works on the character is based off of the material of whatever your armor's made out of. So a lot of our dyes don't really show up all that well on like medium armors that are like leather because of the way that they've been altered. And I mean, that's kind of realistic, right? Like if you try to dye a piece of leather, it's going to come out a bit darker than anything else because that's the way it works. So yeah, that was something that we knew was going to happen when we put in the dye system. But there are a lot of different colors to choose from. And the way that the dye awarding was actually done was to basically make sure that every play style has the opportunity to get every color. So like whether you play, I'm not certain off the top of my head what the 5 are, but I'm gonna take a crack at it. It's like PvP, PvE, crafting, exploring, and then I think I had another one that was like other. And that's where we filtered like all the miscellaneous achievements and things like that. But like if you play any one of those play styles, you should be able to get any color in the game.
That was very thoughtful. A good setup.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm just applauding. You look so in shock. All right, let's take one more question from chat. This one's from Arconceptum. I have a question. Do you have plans? Do you have some plans on achievement points? Do they represent something more than just using them for dyes? Maybe add some meaning to them.
So that's actually
dyes are pretty meaningful.
Dyes are very meaningful. So we've looked at the achievement point system a couple times over the last couple of months, actually. And yeah, we would like to do something really cool with it as well. But I'm not sure exactly where those plans are coming in at.
Sure.
But yeah, it is something that we've noticed and that we would want to do something about as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right,
Cool.
doing something confirmed.
Yes.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Doug.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Do you want to put something on your head like a lot of other people have done?
I mean, I don't know what I would put on my head.
We've got some daggers. You want to try and balance? Probably not.
I would embarrass myself. I'll put this guy on my head.
Boy, this is...
Oh, man, it's happening.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Bravo.
Boom.
Thanks, Doug.
Well, thanks again for
guys.
joining us.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
This was fun.
It
Bye,
was
guys.
fun. Well,
Yeah.
what are we going to do next?
Up next, we're going to do some community events.
It's been an action-packed
Let's do it.
episode. I'm waiting for you to say something.
So let's take a look at the different RP events happening in Tamriel, shall we?
We shall.
Let's shall it. You want to go first?
Hearts Day!
Aw.
Exclamation point. Well, oh man, I thought this was going to happen tomorrow. This is actually happening Monday, February 16th, 7 p.m. GMT, European Mega Server at the Cloudy Dregs Tavern in Wayrest. If you want to visit the romantic Cloudy Dregs Tavern, you should head over there. Sounds like there's going to be some love songs and poems.
Free drinks.
Free drinks for couples.
Holla. All right, up next, we got the Wayrest Mages Guild Lecture Nights. This will be taking place on Wednesday. It's the 18th and the 25th at 7 p.m. GMT on the EU Mega Server for Daggerfall Fault.
The Woodhearth Tavern. This is an event that happens on Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on the North American Mega Server at the Improbable Cutlet. This is for this is for unmarried Dominion players. Everybody is welcome, so you should head on over there for food and drink.
I like that name.
What?
Improbable Cutlet.
Improbable Cutlet.
Yeah, I just like it.
It's cute.
And what else we got? Council of Daggers meeting. This will be taking place on Thursday, the 19th and the 26th at 7 EST. The North American Mega Server. So be there or be square.
The Wood Hearth Open Market. This is Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. This is also on the North American Mega Server in Valenwood for Aldmeri Dominion players. It sounds like merchants from all over the Dominion will be in attendance, so you should go for food and drink, weapons, armor, magical spells. Man, they've got a little bit of everything here. You should go to that.
I'll be there. And then we have the Wayrest Fighters Guild Adventure and Training Nights. This is a once-a-week event taking place on the EU Mega Server. This will be Thursday the 19th and the 28th at 8 p.m. GMT for Daggerfall Covenant folk. What do you think about that?
I like that word.
Well, you should. All right, so
Awkward.
before we go, we have one more giveaway because we want to give away something. That's how that works. What should we give away?
I think we plan to give away another poster book.
We have no plans. This is on.
Oh, doing it live. There it is.
Yep.
This one's sealed, so we can't show you the inside, but it's pretty cool.
Let me open it up. Oh, can't. It's sealed. So for this, we are going to say book.
That is clever.
Let's do book. So if you said poster book in chat, you were not going to win. So that's how that works.
You better hurry up and change it to book.
So book. This is actually a really cool book.
Is it a book?
I don't know if you can kind of see, but yeah, here's some of the different artwork. If you want to see the whole thing, well, you got to win. That's how that works.
Some sturdy pages too. It's not like
it's
paper pages.
It's super nice quality book. It's not like little legal paper or something. So all right, we'll give a little bit more time.
Yeah, they just started going crazy. Somebody said bookie wookie. That is not the correct word.
Yeah. Although you might, I don't know. Can you win if you get part of the word? I don't think so.
I think it has to be the actual
Yeah, I think
word.
it has to be the full word.
No baby talk here. This is serious.
This is very
This is
serious.
Elder Scrolls Online.
It is.
Any more texts from your dad?
Nope. So
We should talk about that.
nope.
Thanks for reminding me.
I wasn't going to let the whole show go without saying.
Oh man. So when we were kind of going through just a rehearsal earlier, Jason got a pretty interesting text. You wanna talk about that?
So someone accidentally borrowed my dad's phone and texted me, "Will you marry me?" And I thought it was funny because it's my dad and that's weird. And I was just very confused why I got that message. But he then
was
texted me
amazing.
right back and said someone was playing with my phone and it was a joke. But it was very confusing. And
This was right before the show was going to start, and poor Jason was sitting here sweating bullets.
I thought
why?
therapy was imminent. So that was my afternoon. But it was all fun and games.
Well, you could have had a really interesting Valentine's Day.
All right.
Alrighty, well,
We actually have a winner.
we do.
You want to read it?
Jason's like, thank God we have a winner. A Pantos.
A Pantos. Congratulations, A Pantos. You are the winner of this
You are the winner.
poster collection book. Very nice. We'll be sending that to you. Of course, Jess is going to contact you via Twitch. Check your inbox and the other tab just in case. Because
Just in case.
You never know.
Because, well, I think
So
that
what did we learn today?
Should we really talk about that? We talked to Eric Wrobel and learned all about a lot of changes that are coming in.
Yep.
I learned that there's going to be a lot of patch notes in 1.6.3.
Yep. We talked to
Who
Doug.
are we kidding? I already knew that coming into this.
We learned about being a systems designer. We gave away good prizes. I think this was good, right?
This was a good day.
Right. Cool.
We should do it again sometime.
How about February 27th?
I think we will at
Okay,
4
cool.
o'clock Eastern Time.
Yep.
Same place, same channel.
Yeah. Let us know what you thought. Kind things only on the forum, social media, whatever you want.
We
what
do
else?
read your feedback.
Yep.
Even when it's mean. It's
Yep.
okay. We do like to know how we can improve this show. If you'd like to,
Can't improve perfection.
this is true. As always, we always like to see your creations,
Yep.
whether it's drawings, paintings, jeez, paintings. Man, I'm already starting the weekend. We like to see merchandise pictures if you've purchased anything, like, this cool sweatshirt or whatever you got. So I think that about wraps it up.
We love Gore and mud crab pictures with pets. That is something
Indeed.
that I'll never get enough of. So if you can send us those as well, that would be great.
Do you remember there used to be a website called Stuff on My Dog?
Nope.
Did you ever see that? It was
didn't, no.
basically just, you know, stuff on people's dogs.
Well,
So maybe we should do like, I don't know.
Gore on my pet.
Yeah, Gore on my pet.
sure. Well, I want you
Why
guys to
not?
think about that all weekend. But until next time, thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys. Have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, see you in Tamriel.